How much do new countertops cost? This question has come up in two separate conversations, so I figured let's take some time and make a video and chat about the hidden details that go into the cost of new countertops. So you want new countertops, or you're putting together a complete budget for a new kitchen renovation, or maybe you've received a couple quotes for replacing your current countertops and they're thousands of dollars apart. What gives? Well, there's a lot of little hidden details, a lot of little hidden costs that can go into creating the overall cost of new countertops. The first and likely most obvious impacting factor when it comes to the cost of your new kitchen countertops is the material you're working with. There are lots of options available out there, some of the most popular being granite, marble, engineered stone or quartz countertops, maybe it's quartzite or soapstone, down to laminate and butcher block. Each material has its own cost structure, its own ability to be sourced. Fabricating and installation processes will vary, as well as durability and long-term functionality. And all of this is going to impact the overall cost of that material. I'm not going to dive into all of the ins and outs of cost and pros and cons of all these different materials in this video because I have an entire playlist dedicated to that, and I'll throw a link up to that in the top corner and in the description below. It's important to understand within each material category, you're going to have varying price structures based on quality and grade. For example, granite countertops can range from lower grade stone with more imperfection all the way to a more premium high grade stone that could have very few imperfections or be a very sought after color. Speaking of color, that leads me into rarity and its impact on cost. If you have a particular slab or color that is very difficult to procure, say Van Gogh granite, the price is going to go up. It's simple economics of supply and demand. Rarity can also be caused by geographical location. If you've got a particular stone that is only found or mined in one location in the world, well, that's going to cost more than a stone that can be mined in multiple locations, or a color that is found in multiple locations. It'll be even more expensive than, say, something like an engineered stone that's created in a factory. The size and thickness will impact the cost of that material. Again, this is fairly straightforward. The larger amount of material you need, or the thicker that material is, the more it's going to cost. Size is also a really important factor when it comes to the actual design of your kitchen. Let's say you're working with an island and you want to avoid seams. Well, even if you're working with a jumbo-sized quartz slab, which is roughly 136 by 78 inches, you need to keep that cabinet design, that cabinet arrangement under those dimensions in order to avoid any seams in your island. The complexity of installation. This is a somewhat difficult topic to summarize concisely because it really comes down to the different types of materials, which all then have different installation or fabrication processes. Broadly speaking, if a countertop requires more intricate cuts, special edging, cutouts for sinks or appliances, it's going to increase the amount of labor and therefore the amount of cost. Remember, the raw material is only half the cost. A complex installation can massively drive up the cost of your overall countertop installation. However, this can also work in your favor. Say you're working in a rather simple kitchen, a galley style, and you've got straight runs of countertops, no corners, and just a simple cutout for a sink. Well, this is going to drop the overall installation cost quite dramatically, which means you could spend those dollars instead on a higher grade or a rarer stone if you wanted. Now for materials. Some materials like butcher block or laminate are typically created in set lengths. They can be measured, they can be templated and created in different lengths, but more often than not, they're cut and fit on site. This is quite a bit different from, say, natural stones or engineered stones that are heavy and more difficult to work with. And these typically require far more precise templating before install. The template can then be taken back to a fabrication shop or sent to a CNC for exact cutting. The template takes into account appliance locations, seams, and sink cutouts. The software can also help maximize the use of each slab of countertop. These extra steps and the expensive tools, like that little templating machine you saw, it's tens of thousands of dollars, and the expertise needed to run all of these are all going to increase the cost of your countertops. I just mentioned edge profiles, so let's get into those additional features or customizations that are going to add to the overall cost. There are numerous edge profiles you can choose when it comes to new countertops. Some of these are more intricate, more detailed in nature, something like the Cove OG. That is going to increase the amount of labor and time required to finish, again, driving up your cost. Some materials allow you to select the finish of the countertop, whether that's polished, honed, maybe it's leathered. I'm not going to get into all of them here. All of these are going to impact the cost of the material slightly differently, but then you also need to decide if any overhangs, say for a seating area, need to be finished the same way as well. Going beyond edge profiles and surface finish, you can have even more customized options, like drain board inlays, it could be curved corners on your island, or maybe even an integrated sink. All of these will change the cost of your countertops. If you're unsure how one finish or one specific feature, whether it's a Cove OG versus a bullnose or maybe just a beveled edge, is going to change the overall cost of your countertops, have a discussion with your fabrication team. They'll tell you how each choice will impact the final cost. Just like any other product you buy, the brand and supplier you choose can also influence the price. Established and well-known brands are going to charge a premium for their reputation and quality assurance. Additionally, different suppliers may have different pricing structures, so it's worth comparing slabs from different sources. This is often easiest to see with engineered quartz countertops, where premium brands charge premium prices. However, just remember, not all of the price can be chalked up to the brand name. There can also be quality differences as well, whether it be consistency, durability, or finish. The last factor I want to discuss is market demand and location. Now, I briefly touched on this earlier, but the supply and demand of a particular stone, the geographical location you live in, and how much competition is in that area can all impact the cost of your countertops as well. The most obvious example I've seen of this is in the Bay Area, where most countertops, kind of almost regardless of material, seem to cost 1.5 to 2 times more than the exact same option in any other major city in North America. This is likely due simply to market conditions in the Bay Area. So if you're looking to pull together a budget or an estimate for your countertops, it's essential that you consider these features. Weigh them against your budget, your needs, the requirements of the kitchen, and what sort of functionality you're looking for. Remember, you're designing a kitchen for the real you. Finally, as promised, how can you save a little bit of money when it comes to new countertops? Well, the best method I have found is to look for remnants or slabs from abandoned projects. Most stone suppliers or even fabricators will have cutoffs from previous projects or leftovers from larger projects, or maybe they have slabs from projects that were abandoned altogether. Now, they'll typically sell these at less than market value to clear room for new inventory and get them out of their way. Consider alternative options. Now, I've done an entire video on this in the past, check it out there, but essentially what it boils down to is we can't always have what we want. Sometimes we need to make concessions, whether it's based on budget or maybe time to keep the project rolling ahead. So let's say you really want soapstone, but the cost of slabs is just outside your budget, or maybe you can't get them in time in order to keep that renovation moving forward. Well, look at an alternative like honed quartz and use that as a replacement. Simplify the overall design. Every time you deviate from the standard norm countertop, whether it's curved corners, fancy edging profiles, more cutouts, more appliance inserts, all that complexity is going to increase the cost. Last but not least, research and compare prices. Countertop fabricators and installers are no different when it comes to getting estimates than any other trade. Shop around, look at different places in your city, look at different stone suppliers for the cost of slabs, look at different fabricators and installers for the actual work to be done, and compare their prices. Just make sure you're comparing apples to apples. What I mean by that is similar quality stone to an equal quality of stone. Don't compare granite at one place to marble at another to quartz at another. Compare like for like. Wrap it up, you can see how kitchen countertop costs can vary widely depending on material, fabrication, installation, as well as something as simple as where you live. But you're now armed with all the different choices you can make and the ways you can save a few dollars on your next countertop project. As always, thanks a ton for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.